We are Sorted, a group of foodies from London who today are way out of our comfort zone.
I feel like I need some moral support.
We've been sent to Tokyo in Japan and tasked with cooking up a food and sake pairing menu for some locals.
I'm so nervous.
So, first job is to immerse ourselves in the culture, food and sake to work out how we achieve probably our biggest challenge yet. This might be the hardest thing we've ever done.
Konnichiwa, my name is Jamie and this is Ben.
If you remember back to the start of this year, we were able to explore sake in London and New York thanks to Jay Fudo.
And thanks to your comments all saying, wouldn't it be great if you could go to Japan and explore Japanese food and sake? Guess where we're going?
Genuinely, the most exciting place I've ever been to.
Sensory overload, this place.
So of the five of us, only Evers had been to Japan before, hadn't you?
Yes, although walking around eating whatever takes your fancy on holiday is very different to having to cook for a restaurant of Japanese diners.
And seafood has a particular cultural significance, which we don't have a lot of time to grasp.
Yeah, so we started with sushi, which was very different.
Instantly, you couldn't help but notice the care taken over what seemed just a few ingredients.
But wow, it was probably the best sushi I've ever had. Stop filming! Stop filming! I tried to pick up my oyster sushi with chopsticks and it went terribly wrong. And they're having to redo it for me. That is incredible. That is unlike anything I've ever had.
I know!
It is incredible. And with yet another sake, a plum sake, unreal.
And we went from what seemed to me very traditional sushi to very cool experimental dishes.
As if sitting at a sushi bar wasn't theatre enough, you then get this, and this is like their signature, a really hot stone, and now it's kind of being steamed within that. I'm so intrigued. I've never had hot sushi. The fish literally just melts away.
It's really dry, almost sour. With the really strong flavoured fish, it's perfect.
And of course, the food was just one part of this challenge. We also needed to pair it with our choice of sake, Japanese rice wine. Luckily, we had an expert on hand.
When you think about pairing sake with seafood and why it works, it's because you have not only just the axis of sweetness and acidity, which you have with wine. With sake, you have sweetness, acidity, and umami. I like to always think of it as the tool that allows your tongue to taste in 3 dimensions.
So with that lesson learned, we need to eat a lot more seafood.
Japan is a country surrounded by water, from the ocean on the coastlines to the freshwater lakes and rivers flowing through the mountains. And as a result, Japan has access to some of the most fresh and diverse fish and seafood in the world.
It's octopus on a stick. It's been blowtorched, it's been griddled or covered in barbecue sauce. I was expecting that to be really tough. It kind of flakes apart. It's so fresh. It's charred, bitter, sweet. It pulls apart. That is spectacular. He's got one. He's got a whole.
Thoughts?
I put myself forward for this. I like oysters.
How do you eat that?
One shot.
One shot!
This is homemade ponzu dressing. I feel like I need some moral support. Right, okay. 3, 2, 1. Got it. Oh, it's really good. But it's so much, it's just so big. Lemony, creamy, and sweet.
That was very exciting.
You sound excited.
Come to Tokyo's best fish market, and one of the first things you see is Wagyu beef, then obviously you're going to get Wagyu beef on a stick. It says it's Japan's highest grade.
You can get it with sea urchin on.
I think Jamie just spent £30 on meat on a stick.
Steak lollipop.
Hi. Both the flavours mellow each other out.
Sugoi! It is kind of salty from that sauce, but it is beefy charred. And then the sea urchin gives you kind of a rich, sweet. I've compared it to like mussel meat before, like the meat of a mussel, except on steroids. It's insane.
Next up we have takosen, which is essentially squashed octopus rice paper? Cracker.
Big long queue for them. You vend your own ticket and pay for it. You take the ticket to a window and you then queue, and they do them in real time right in front of you between 2 very heavy clasped hot plates, and I'm amazed at how quickly they cook. It's like a stained glass shellfish.
It's art. That is art. That is art, not food.
It's like a salty prawn cracker, but lighter, less foamy, and more cracky.
It's so crispy. These were octopus 5 minutes ago.
Definitely like the cracker.
Everywhere you look, more food.
We are now in Cafe de Fleur trying kakigori. I've got a mango one. You've got, what is that?
Roasted tea, bubble milk tea.
Oh, it's so weird.
Refreshing, zingy, clean. This is just what I needed.
Another thing that would quickly dawn on us was that no matter how many or few ingredients were used, the looks, the care, and even the crockery design were taken into consideration.
We are at SENBEI, which is a fusion of classical French and Japanese cuisine, which I think is quite good for me, because I'm not sure that I like Japanese cuisine yet.
Ooh!
Right from the off, every plate looks amazing.
This is Japanese crab with tomato jelly. There's a mousse and there's some Japanese herbs. The tiny flowers on top have a really floral flavour to them, which is amazing. But the best thing about them is they're grown just outside the restaurant. Cheers.
Daiginjo Junmai, starting with the big stuff.
Probably the best sake I've ever had.
I think we can confidently call this Japanese tapas.
No!
Why not? No? It's a selection of hors d'oeuvres that all look unreal. Before we dig in, can we just appreciate that these guys have been to the James Curry School of Plating?
That might be the biggest compliment you've ever given me.
I'm going for breakfast, obviously. It's toast, sausage, and a quail's egg yolk. Could we get like 4 more of them to make a real breakfast? They are decent.
So this is a turnip round with sashimi prawn, so raw prawn in the centre, and then a jelly on top with more of those fragrant floral flowers. The prawn just goes, bleh, and it's almost creamy, almost dairy-like.
I've gone for the sea snail croquette because I thought that's more Japanese. The closest flavour I can compare that to is mushroom. It's really mushroomy, but with a slight seafood tang to it.
All of those hors d'oeuvres were served with one sake, and it's a sake like we've never had before. I love this.
And it seemed the more sake we drank with the food, the more we were aware of the umami taste Melinda spoke of.
Just imagine for a second if we could plate up any of our dishes at our dinner like anything like this.
It's bloody easy for you to say, isn't it?
You could get our service. Or this. I just got this from one of those fruit and veg vending machines on the side of the road, because they grow them in these fields.
It's ramen time. We've come to OMOTENASHI KUROKI, and the reason that we've come to this specific place is because this ramen restaurant has won Tokyo's best ramen 2 years consecutively, and this is these guys finding that out for the first time. What? They've even opened early so that we can get in, because normally there's a queue all the way out the door.
I don't know about you guys, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. We're about to watch our 2 closest friends food gathering.
All I'm hearing is it's the tiny little details that are adding up to make this Tokyo's best ramen. The head chef has designed his own bowls so that they're the right shape, depth, and have the right lip so that you can slurp the ramen properly. It's crazy.
You must be really excited to watch me and Ben eat this.
First of 3 bowls, and it is a chicken ramen. So they call it salt. Black chicken from Kyoto, some ginger, some tomato in a broth with some kombu. Oh. Ah.
Oh no. It happened.
So yes, it is salty, but it's like the most intense chicken broth, and there's almost like a chicken ball in there. It reminds me a little bit almost like matzo chicken noodle soup, except you then got that kombu in there, which has that super savoury umami finish.
And that might be the best chicken I've ever tasted.
Ben's actually shaking with excitement. Let's talk about nuts.
As if one of Tokyo's best bowl of ramen was enough, we're now going to have a second. This has got clam, it's got pork lard in it, It's finished with blackened garlic. It's got this amazing piece of pork on top, which is 50 pork, 50% fat. And in this bowl, the noodles are thinner, so you get less of the floweriness and more of the fragrance of the clam and the lard and the soy. At the table, we got a spritz of soy sauce, and that gives you that final fragrance, but also that's where you slurp from, so you get that as you drink.
Spoilers.
Look at those noodles. I would put the clamminess halfway between like seafood and seaweed. It's kind of the sweetness of seafood, but it's not quite the salty umami of seaweed. It's somewhere in between.
You really do pick up a lot more of the broth with these noodles.
And they've specifically paired this one with this incredible junmai, and yes, it pairs beautifully with the soy flavour, but also the richness of the pork and the lard. You kind of have this, which is slightly more acidic, kind of just cuts through it, and it's just a pair that is meant to be. Wow!
We've come to Ebisu to check out the restaurant that we're going to be taking over tomorrow. Ben and James are so nervous.
This is all getting very real.
I think everything we've learned over the last few days is just sinking in. The amount of respect, care, attention that is required for food and for people to be able to enjoy the food. This is actually quite a big deal.
So we'd learnt a lot, but then for the real pressure, we needed to decide what on earth we were going to cook and how we were going to pair that with sake to unlock that three-dimensional umami flavour to win the approval of a restaurant full of local diners.
Challenge on.
What do you think about our journey so far? Give the video a like if you're enjoying it and comment down below with your favourite moment.
It goes without saying there are two collective people we need to thank. One of those is you guys and all your comments, because that's what got us there. And two, Jay Fudo for making the whole thing possible. Thank you.
The rest of the journey is going to unfold over the next couple of episodes that we launch on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed, you got your notifications on, so you don't miss a thing.
And I know what you're waiting for.
A relevant dad joke.
Have you got a relevant one? Right.
What's the most popular font used in Japan?
I have no idea.
Times New Ramen. You're welcome. Arigato.
As we mentioned, we don't just make top quality YouTube videos. No. We've built the Sorted Club, where we use the best things we've learned to create stuff that's hopefully interesting and useful to other food lovers. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a few days.
He's just grated about 200 quid's worth of truffle.
That roll is worth more than my house.